Day 67. We have been every day investing into this discipline, this habit of reading the Bible every day. And it is very much a discipline, but it is not meant to be a duty or a chore. It's meant to be a joy. It's meant to be a delight. So I want to encourage you, if you still experience Bible reading at times as a duty or a chore, a great prayer to pray is, God, will you teach me to delight in your word? I'm sure many of us who have been reading every day, we have begun to experience the joy of God's word. Luke 23. Today's chapter and tomorrow, this changes everything. Up until now, Jesus has been a great moral teacher, doing miracles, speaking about the kingdom. But it is his death and his resurrection that changed everything. Jesus, at the end of chapter 2, was brought to trial before the Jewish rulers, the Jewish council. They found him guilty on a trumped-up charge of blasphemy, but they can't sentence him to death. They are ruled by the Romans, so even though they are semi-autonomous within Jerusalem and the Judean area, they are also still subject to Roman law, and only the Roman governor can sentence someone to death. And so they bring Jesus to the Roman governor on charges of sedition, amongst others saying that people shouldn't pay taxes. Pilate, the governor, examines Jesus and realizes this guy, he is not guilty. He wants to acquit him, but then he also hears that Herod, who at this stage was still his enemy, Herod the Tetrarch, there were many Herods in the New Testament, so one needs to focus every time we read Herod the Tetrarch, which is sort of a king of the Galilean area, also still subject to Roman rule. He's in Jerusalem, and Jesus is a Galilean, so Pilate tries to pass the buck and make this Herod's problem. Herod spends time with Jesus and realizes Jesus is not guilty. He sends him back to Pilate. Pilate wants to acquit him, and eventually he gives in to the Jewish rulers and sentences Jesus to death. Jesus is taken by the Romans up onto a place they called the place of the skull, or in Aramaic that would be Golgotha. In Latin, that would be Calvary, which is where the word that we use, the hill of Calvary, comes from. And as Jesus dies, there is darkness for 3 hours. We don't know what caused the darkness. We do know it could not have been an eclipse, because the eclipse requires a full moon, and the Passover is always around a new moon. So that's not a possibility. There's an earthquake, the veil in the temple is torn, and then a wealthy man, a wealthy follower of Jesus, who was also a member of the council, and he didn't approve of the way that Jesus had been treated. He makes time and effort, and he takes Jesus off of the cross and lays him in his own private tomb, where Jesus will be until his resurrection a couple of days later.